2-0. For Atlanta, 4 runs, 6 hits, and an error. For the Pirates, no runs, 6 hits, and no errors. And Terry Pendleton pays another visit to the mound to chat with John Smoltz. Pendleton, the only man on the field right now for the Atlanta Braves who has ever experienced a World Series. That leaves 8 guys who've never been, but are dying to go. The 2-0 pitch, a strike call. 2-1 to Buechele as he's taking. Buechele has a good eye. You've got to throw him strikes. The 2-1. Cut on and miss. And it's 2-2. Many of the fans here in Pittsburgh who remained are on their feet, but they're not making much noise. I think they sense their fate. The 2-2. Swung on and missed for strike 3, or did he get it? Did he get a little piece? He did. Buechele got a little tiny piece and fouled it off at the plate. And Olsen not hanging on there, so the count remains at 2-2. Smoltz was so close to whiffing this guy and getting it down to 2 outs. Now he'll try again. The 2-2 home. Foul back, right to the screen. Spanky LaValliere on deck. 4-0 Atlanta. Bottom of the 9th in Game 7. And the 2-2 pitch. There's a high fly ball to center. Routine play for Gant. He's underneath it, and he clinches it for the out. The Atlanta Braves are 2 outs away from the World Series. That'll bring up LaValliere. And Pete, my guess is at times over the last 16 years, you thought you'd never get here.
And I can tell you somebody else who's got to have some emotions going through him right now is Ted Turner down in that front row behind the Braves dugout.
There's a foul ball by LaValliere off to the third base side for strike 1.
When he bought the Atlanta Braves in January of 1976, I'm not sure Ted knew exactly what a World Series was. But he said he's going to get the Braves there someday. And there were a few false turns along the road to get Atlanta there, but his dream may be coming true tonight.
The 0-1 pitch misses high to LaValliere. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. The Pirate catcher is 1 for 2. He's reached on an error and singled. He's also walked. A chunky left-hand hitter. Smoltz winds and the 1-1 home. Hit high in the air, right center field. Easy play for David Justice. Into the gap. He waits and takes it. That's out number 2. Atlanta 1 out away from the World Series. And Jose Lind is the batter. The light-hitting second baseman, 0 for 3 in the game. Smoltz taking a deep breath behind the mound. Now he climbs up on top of the rubber. Lind waits. Base is empty. 2 men out in the pitch. Fouled away off to the right side for strike 1. Call it what you will. Destiny, serendipity, fate. Some might even imply it's divine intervention. Or simply a reaffirmation of that old baseball rule that good pitching always beats good hitting. Here the Atlanta Braves are 2 strikes away from going to the World Series, and it's swung on and missed by Lind. 0-2. The Braves are 1 strike away from the World Series. Smoltz stares into Olsen. Gets his sign. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Fouled away at home plate. Lind hangs in there. Atlanta is about to explode. And we'll hear it here in Pittsburgh. The kick and the 0-2 pitch. There's a bouncer to first, fielded by Hunter. He races to the bag, and the Atlanta Braves have won the National League Championship. Strap on your dancing shoes. We're headed for the big ball, Atlanta. And John Smoltz is being mobbed out on the field. The Atlanta Braves, in 7 incredible games, have won the National League Championship here in Pittsburgh tonight. The final score, Atlanta 4, the Pirates 0. And we're headed for the World Series. What an incredible year. And And the Braves have done it, defying every odd that was ever put up on that board against them. And tonight, doing it again with pitching. They shut down the Pittsburgh Pirates 4-0 to earn a trip to Minnesota and the October Classic beginning on Saturday night. This is a sight that lifelong Braves fans thought they'd never see, and here it is being played out before them in Pittsburgh. The Braves are now racing off the field, knowing full well what they've accomplished has shook up the world, as Ronnie Gant said after the Braves clinched the National West title. And now they're going to try to shake up the world one more time by beating Minnesota in the World Series. The Braves are now filing off the field. Terry Pendleton high-fiving everyone with a hand, waving his cap in the air. Ronnie Gant gets a hug. Steve Avery being mobbed. Bobby Cox, who today was voted Manager of the Year by the Associated Press. And who else could it have been, walking off the field with flashbulbs firing off in his face? The Atlanta Braves are champions of the National League. They downed the Pittsburgh Pirates 4-3 in 7 great games. You tip your cap to the Pirates because they were terrific competition. But now it's on to the only series that really counts, the World Series. Game 1 will be Saturday night in Minnesota inside the Dome. And the Braves will have tomorrow to celebrate this miraculous achievement. They have won the National League title. Final score here tonight, Atlanta 4, the Pirates nothing. And we will wrap it up right after this on the Atlanta Braves Baseball Network.
And they're the first team to have 3 shutouts in a championship series. No doubt that their pitching did it for them. Here's the final out of the game. To Brian Hunter. And what did the Atlanta pitcher think of that last out? How exciting can it be? Here comes Olson. Let's go down to Tim McCarver for the trophy presentation.
All right, Jack, obviously a jubilant clubhouse, and I am with National League President Bill White, who will make the trophy presentation to Ted Turner, the owner of the Atlanta Braves. Bill?
Timmy, thank you. We along with Ted, we have Bobby Cox, the manager, and also John Sherholtz, the general manager. And Ted, I know it's been a great year for you. I'd like to present you with this Warren Giles trophy for the great year you had here in 1991. Congratulations.
Thank you, Bill, and we accept this on behalf of the players, the coaches, and all the front office people and the fans of the Atlanta Braves.
Ted, you purchased the club in 1976. Did you think it'd take this long?
Well, I was hoping it'd be sooner, but better late than never.
Bobby Cox, you had an opportunity to win back in 1985 with the Toronto Blue Jays. You were up 3-1, a bitter pill to swallow, losing to Kansas City. What makes this so special, huh?
Well, Timmy, it was tough to lose 3-1. We were down 3-2 here, and we felt we could come back. We felt we had the pitching. If we got any hitting at all, we probably win some ball games. And it's very special coming from last place last year, rebuilding, and John putting the club together this winter and going out and do it. We thought we had a fine ball club in the spring, and I told him to ask me how good it was in August. We were still kicking in August, and we end up winning it. Remarkable for young pitchers to shut out the Pittsburgh Pirates in this ballpark 3 out of 4 times. It's almost impossible, to be honest with you, and they led the league in hitting, and it would look as if we led the league in pitching, but we didn't, but we were close. John Sherholtz, your first year with the Atlanta Braves. What do you do for an encore?
We're going to try to do this again. We're going to enjoy this now. We've got the best owner and the best manager in baseball and the best organization. Stan Kasten, Bobby Cox, Ted Turner, everybody worked their hearts out, and I'm so delighted for this team and organization.
To make the Toronto-Kansas City connection, you were the general manager of the Kansas City Royals in 1985. Why is this year so much different and so special?
In fact, I told Bobby, I said, Bobby, you've got 2 important road wins coming after what happened in Toronto. Let's get them here in Pittsburgh, and he got us.
We will be right back at the Atlanta Braves clubhouse, the National League champions, right after this.
When I first saw Sarah on the library steps, I swear it skipped a beat. When Don Larson was one pitch away from a perfect game in the World Series, it stood perfectly still. On that awful day in '63, it felt like it was in the pit of my stomach. And that incredible moment when we all took one giant leap for mankind, it nearly burst with pride. But last year, when the doctors told me my heart was failing, and without a transplant I wouldn't last 6 months, that's when it stuck in my throat.
A year ago, the Prudential created the Living Needs Benefit. Now, the terminally ill could collect their death benefit while they were alive, and they could use it for anything their heart desired.
Now that I'm alive and well, I think of the donor. I think of his family, and naturally, my heart goes out to them.
For information, call 1-800-654-ROCK.
We're putting some new choices on Wendy's Super Value menu, like our new Caesar side salad and Junior Cheeseburger Deluxe, 99 cents each. With what things cost, it's nice to get a break once in a while.
Now get 9 delicious choices for 99 cents each at Wendy's.
I used to have dandruff, so I tried Head and Shoulders. Then I tried Selsun Blue. Blue is better.
Selsun Blue relieves dandruff flaking better than Head and Shoulders, and doctors recommend it more than Head and Shoulders, Denorex, and Tegrin.
Blue is better.
Selsun Blue.
There's a reason more people go to Sears for a new battery.
Can't believe I left my lights on.
Only Sears has the Die Hard. Sears is so confident of Die Hard starting power, if you need a jump, Sears will do it absolutely free. Anytime, anywhere, even if you leave your lights on.
I got stranded once. Never again.
Sears Die Hard. More power when you need it most.
Who's going to back you better than Sears?
The Braves won it. They are the champions of the National League with a 4-0 win here tonight. Moments ago, Andre Joyce had an opportunity to visit with Jim Leyland.
Jim, obviously a disappointing moment. Is there any way to put into words what you and your players are going through right now?
No, I don't think so. I think, first of all, you tip your hat to the Atlanta Braves. I think that's how you handle it. You know, this is getting a little rough for me. I had to do it last year, and I'm certainly very disappointed. But I think, to me, the only way to handle it is they are definitely the legitimate champions because, you know, after we won 2 in a row down in Atlanta and came back home, we had to win 1 at home, and they had to win 2 in our ballpark. They did it, and like I said, they're a legitimate champion. John Sherholtz, Bobby Cox, coaches, you know, the players. What a great performance and what a great story for baseball from last place to the National League pennant. So I tip my hat to them. We didn't get it done. We certainly had our chances. We had a little edge, I felt, coming home, but we didn't do the job.
I was going to ask you were up 3-2 with 2 chances to win it at home, but you didn't seem to think that you did have much of an edge.
Well, you know, when you got Avery coming back and you got Smoltz, you know, that's a tough day, and that's what I told everybody in Atlanta. I think we had a slight edge coming home because, you know, you figure you ought to be able to win 1 game in your park, and we should have been able to, but we didn't get it done. And like I said, there's no excuses here, and you know, you tip your hat to the opponent. They earned it, and like I said, legitimate champion, and I tip my hat to them.
Is it a little tougher to take than last year?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and, you know, be a martyr and credit everybody on the other side for a great job. It's tough. I'm very disappointed. I really felt that we could do it and we would do it, but we didn't get it done. And it's that simple. And like I said, I don't have any regrets. I hope that my players don't have any regrets, and that's the only thing I ask coming into this thing.
Well, you said throughout the week that it's been a great series to watch, and we thank you for being so gracious throughout the series, and especially tonight.
Well,
we do appreciate it.
Well, that's all part of it.
And that's the story from the Pittsburgh side.
All right, Andrea, thank you very much. I am with Jim Janowiak, who is the National Sales Truck Merchandising Manager for Chevrolet, and he will present the Most Valuable Player trophy to Steve Avery. Jim?
Thanks, Tim. And congratulations, Steve. On behalf of Chevrolet, I'd like to present you with the Chevrolet MVP Award, as well as a set of keys to a brand new Chevy Astro van, which will be donated in your name to the charity of your choice. Congratulations. Thank you.
Steve, it's hard to believe that only 3 years ago you were pitching in high school, right?
Yeah, you know, it's a little bit different world out here, but I just got to say hi to everyone back home, especially to my fiancée, Heather.
What was your approach to the Pittsburgh Pirates? What did you want to do that is the main reason for your success? Tell us.
You know, just what we've been doing all year long, being aggressive, going right after them, and getting ahead, throwing strikes. And, you know, they got such a great hitting lineup. You really just got to go after them and be aggressive.
And how about the Minnesota Twins? You're obviously looking forward to that this weekend.
I haven't really started thinking about that yet, but I'm sure come tomorrow we'll be talking about it a little bit more.
All right, we will return to a soggy Three Rivers Stadium right after this message and a word from your local stations.
In 1895, Wilhelm Röntgen discovered X-rays. The following year, Siemens worked closely with him to develop its first X-ray tubes. That was then. This is now. Today, Siemens manufactures imaging technology that helps doctors save lives. And with 35,000 people nationwide, the men and women of Siemens will continue to manufacture ideas that even Professor Röntgen never dreamed of. Siemens, precision thinking.
I want to show you why my Dirt Devil is the world's best-selling corded hand vacuum. Okay, Sam. Now, the toughest test for any vacuum is pet hair. So I gave my Dirt Devil a strong motor and a revolving brush just like an upright. And if it's powerful enough to clean up this mess, imagine what it can do with a dirty carpet. You could say Dirt Devil is man's best friend. Well, almost. So get a Dirt Devil and put the power of an upright in the palm of your hand.
Pizza Hut Delivery presents the return of the $4 pizza deal.
Tell me, is our first pizza is
Regular price.
And up to 4 more pizzas are each?
$4.
What about a pepperoni lovers?
Regular price.
And a sausage pizza?
$4.
5 meat lovers pizzas.
Regular price, $4, $4, $4.
First pizza,
and we'll feed
4 more, just $4 each.
Okay, so airtime for World Series game number 1 will be 8:07 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. Pete Van Weren and Don Sutton, we will be there to bring it to you over WSB. And Pete, this is an incredible story that the Braves, I'm sure, just want to write one more chapter to.
We started hearing back in late August
Center, where professionals give you decorating advice, from coordinating color
to a World Series. And even though he kept hearing that and kept seeing games where it seemed like that was the case, he didn't really believe it, because you just felt that somewhere along the way the
Well, it's an overused word in sports, but it is a team with an incredible level of character and stick-to-itiveness and everything you need to be a champion. You can talk about the great pitching. You need that to win. You've got to play defense. You've got to have timely hittings. But there are intangibles this team has that every championship team does possess.
And I think a part of it is, Dave, that these are guys who genuinely enjoy being together and being with each other and playing together. I never have liked the term in sports that we are a family, because you're not. There is only one family for you. It's a wonderful working relationship, but in all of the time that I've been around baseball, I have never seen a group of guys who genuinely enjoyed each other, and I think that has to help. The second thing, there really isn't a jerk on the ball club. And if there were one, there are 24 other guys who are very squared away, level, and headed toward the same direction and focused. They would not let it happen. And I think this club started heading in the same direction in spring training. And the big key, this is on my 3rd year here, Pete, you've been here a lot longer than I, but I can remember playing against the Braves in spring training. I can remember the first 2 years here. Right out of the chute, all of spring training is spent building an attitude to justify losing. This year, you never heard that. It was an attitude of planning on how to win. Okay, we're going to win. We're going to start out winning. We're going to be better. We're going to be better. You heard the terms better. This is the first step, over and over. Not once did you hear anybody on the Braves say, well, you know, if we can just improve a little. It was a winning attitude from day one in spring training.
I agree, and I think the addition of the people that John Sherholtz went out and got during the wintertime is a big part of that reason. Guys like Terry Pendleton, Sid Bream, Rafael Belliard, Juan Berenguer, Otis Nixon coming to the club late in spring training, the trade for Alejandro Pena. All of these guys, not only good ball players, certainly they've proven that in their careers, but all of them have been winners. They've played on teams that have gone to postseason play. They know what it takes to get there, and they were a tremendous influence on the younger players who had never experienced that.
Well, let's not kid anyone. Chemistry is not something that any general manager can plan out. It's not something a manager can manage. It's just something that develops, and that's the wonderful thing about this team.
But you put the pieces in place, and part of the things that you do, or one of the things you look for when you put pieces in place to improve, maybe not to win right away. John Sherholtz did not go for a big star marquee, big ego player, a guy who might hit 30 or 40 home runs but have to build a separate clubhouse for his ego. He didn't do that. He went for guys who could help this ball club improve step by step by step. And having seen what we've seen, how encouraged can we be? Because he went on record as saying, this is only the first step. What more do we have to look forward to?
Well, I don't think we'll ever, any of us, experience another season like this. To come back from where the Braves were a year ago. It was just 1 year ago that the Braves, for the third year in a row, had drawn under 1 million people, the only team in the National League to do that. It's kind of an embarrassing situation for the ball club and the city to be in, really. The Losersville label tagged on Atlanta was coming back again. You were starting to see that referred to more and more. The team really, people kept asking you, when's it going to turn around? When's it going to turn around? And all of us felt coming out of spring training that maybe this year it would turn around a little, but none of us expected this. None of us did.
This is an extraordinary occurrence. It doesn't happen in sports very often. And the amazing thing is there are two teams that were in last place last year, and those are the two teams playing for the whole thing come Saturday night. The three of us will be back with a quick note as we look ahead to the Minnesota series against the Twins, the World Series, again, 8:07 on Saturday night from the Dome. And this is going to be a real battle of the fans, too, between the Choppers down our way in Atlanta and the Homer Hanky people up there in Minnesota. They go crazy, too, over their baseball team. We'll have more in a moment on the Atlanta Braves Baseball Network.
Sorry we're not home to take your call, but if you're calling about our car in the classified ad, we've taken it to sell at Cars Public Auto Auction in Norcross this weekend.
This is the one you've been waiting for. Cars, or Community Auction Resale Services, is celebrating their first birthday this weekend with 2 fabulous days of auto auctions, guaranteed to double your chance of getting the car you want at the price you want. Starting this Friday night at 7:30 and continuing Saturday afternoon at 1, Cars will auction to the public approximately 500 cars, trucks, and vans, including 100 repossessions and off-lease vehicles from GE Capital Corp. that will be sold with a money-back mechanical guarantee. You heard right. Pre-owned vehicles sold at auction with a money-back mechanical guarantee. This weekend, it's the public auto auction event of the year at Cars. I-85 at Jimmy Carter Boulevard. Call 441-CARS. 441-CARS.
The year 1991. The place, Atlanta. A time and a city that will live in the annals of sports history as the year of the Atlanta Braves. And to commemorate the miracle season of 1991, Del Taco has a very special offer no true Braves fan should miss. For a limited time only, Del Taco restaurants are offering an official 32-ounce Atlanta Braves collector's mug. Only $1.59 filled with Coca-Cola Classic or other soft drink. What a year for the Braves, and what a deal for Braves fans. But hurry, the season won't last forever, and neither will these great collector's mugs. So swing over to your nearest participating Del Taco and go to bat for the home team with your official 32-ounce Atlanta Braves collector's mug. At participating Del Tacos only while supplies last. And try Del Taco's new mouth-watering Mexican Light menu featuring 3 full meals that are less than 300 calories and lower in fat and cholesterol. They're delicious, and they're only at Del Taco.
News experts explain the hows and whys the first thing each day on Atlanta's morning news. You can depend on AM-750 WSB.
The Atlanta Braves are champions of the National League, beating the Pittsburgh Pirates here in Pittsburgh tonight. Final score 4-0. Atlanta wins it in 7 games. John Smoltz, the winner. John Smiley, the loser. And the Braves are on to Minnesota. We'll be boarding a charter probably sometime before 6 a.m., and that's when the celebration will, I guess, finally die down in the Atlanta clubhouse. Steve Avery, by the way, was the MVP. And what more can we say about what Avery did in this series at the age of 21, Don? We were musing about what's he going to do when he's 31 years old for an encore.
He'll be a full partner. That's exactly what he will be. We will all be working for Steve Avery. Either that or he'll own an island in the South Pacific. Very talented kid, very mature, and I think the questions are now put to rest as to how does a 21-year-old get this mature. Age has nothing to do with it. The kid is a remarkable man. He is a remarkable pitcher. What he has accomplished is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen a pitcher do.
Well, Pete, the story continues. It's not over yet, but it's one more step for the Atlanta Braves, and you begin to believe, if you didn't before, about things like fate and destiny, but I don't believe the Braves are thinking about those things. And I think whenever a team does win a championship, its eyes are simply on the next game and on beating this pitcher and moving this runner over. The Braves, I don't think, are going to do anything differently. Why should they, going to the World Series?
No, I don't think they will either. They've been a very focused group all year. I think they'll remain that way. And to all the fans of the Atlanta Braves, get those tomahawks ready, get those tom-toms out again, get the Indian bonnets ready. Kirby Puckett's coming to town next week, for crying out loud.
Yeah, that's right. Kirby Puckett and the Minnesota Twins. This is a fun-loving group, too.
It is, and they're a good ball club. And, you know, to recap this whole season, this is a wonderful way to see it end just prior to going to the World Series. I only have one regret. I wish our partner Skip Carey could have been here enjoying it with us, because he, Ernie Johnson, and Chip have all been a great part of this, and I know you probably have a little more to say, but I can't tell you what a great thrill it has been for me to be a part of presenting this to you, the people in the Southeast, and we can't tell you how much we told you about the encouragement for the players, but we thrive on it too, and it's all been 100% positive. It makes it a lot easier to come to work every day.
We can't tell you what a joy it's been for us to sit up in these booths around the country, but then to come back to Atlanta and experience 50,000 maniacs doing the tomahawk chop and the chant and going crazy for this baseball team, and see it lift the Atlanta Braves to a higher level, a level that indeed no Atlanta baseball team has ever attained before, but is about to, going to the World Series. Our thanks to Don Sutton and Pete Van Weeren and our producer-engineer Rick Shaw. We'll all be back with you from Minnesota on Saturday night. Our airtime will be 8:07. We hope you will join us. That's airtime for the pregame show. First pitch around 8:40. And it's game one of the World Series between the Atlanta Braves and the Minnesota Twins. Don't miss it. We know you won't. First two games there in the Dome. I'm Dave O'Brien, thanking you very much for being with us. The final score, National League Championship Series, Game 7. The Atlanta Braves 4, the Pittsburgh Pirates nothing. John Smoltz, a brilliant performance. He went 2-0 in the league championship. Steve Avery was the MVP earlier today. Bobby Cox was named the Associated Press Manager of the Year. And yes, the dream continues. It's on to the World Series. Have a great morning, everybody.
The 10th Inning Show was brought to you by Texaco, by Bulova and Friedman Jewelers, by Georgia Marble, and by Comfort Maker Heating and Air.
You've been listening to the National League Playoffs. The Atlanta Braves against the Pirates on AM-750 WSB. Brought to you by the United States Postal Service. They deliver for you. By Ed Voiles Honda and Ed Voiles Acura. By Kofor Brothers Building Supplies. By Kuppenheimer's Men's Clothiers. By Prime Bank. By Atlanta Lincoln Mercury Dealers. By Kendall Motor Oil. When you pour in the Kendall, you can really pour it on. By Southtown Hyundai Isuzu. By Blimpie Subs and Salads, always sliced fresh. And by DeKalb Tire.
Coming to you live from the National League Pennant City, Atlanta, Georgia. Wes Minner getting ready to get into it with you at 872-0750. We'll also go to Minneapolis. We're having a party here on AM-750 WSB.
Atlanta, WSB, Atlanta, AM-750.
Absolutely amazing. Tomorrow night on AM-750 WSB, hear the Atlanta Braves and the Minnesota Twins in the first game of the World Series.
WSB, Atlanta.
Good morning. I'm Mike Cavanaugh on the AM-750 WSB News Center. The temperature at 12:16, 51 degrees. Overnight weather clear, cool, the low 46. The miracle season continues. Our Atlanta Braves jumped on Pirates pitcher John Smiley early and often, scoring 3 runs. They added another later, held on to beat Pittsburgh 4-0. Dave O'Brien with the final call.
The kick and the 0-2 pitch. There's a bouncer to first, fielded by Hunter. He races to the bag, and the Atlanta Braves have won the National League Championship. Strap on your dancing shoes. We're headed for the big ball, Atlanta.
Our Braves going to the World Series, where they will meet the American League's worst-to-first miracle team, the Minnesota Twins. If you're thinking of meeting the team as they return to Atlanta, stay home. They'll be going straight from Pittsburgh to Minneapolis. First game will be Saturday, of course. We'll have the very best coverage right here on AM-750 WSB. We'll bring you play-by-play of every game of the series. If you want to go to the World Series this weekend, We here at WSB have some very good news for you. You can go. Bruce Burns, president of Leisure Club International, says he has a complete package ready to go right now.
We're in the office tonight. We're going to be here probably from about 12 midnight till 2 or 3 a.m., and you can call 257-1717. Game tickets and airplane flights, the whole thing is $4.99 per person. That includes airfare, transfers, and game tickets.
And again, that number is 257-1717, 257-1717.